I see every single one of my teammates fighting for that every single inch. We say, we fly 18 inches apart. That is the closest that we fly, and every pilot, maintainer, ops personnel, support personnel is fighting for that every single inch in order to keep that tight ship, because we're incredibly proud of what we do, bringing, the air power to, and the military in general, to every single corner of America.
Hey Team Bullseye, Brigadier General Mike Drowley here with another 5C7, where you get to meet some of our interesting airmen in the 57th Wing. And today I've got Captain Katie Moorcamp from the Thunderbirds, call sign Jinx, that we get to talk to and meet today. So Katie, originally from the great state of Missouri, right?
Yes,
yeah, and so if you could, what's your origin story? What brought you into the Air Force?
Yeah, yes sir. So like I said, from Missouri, and I was a track athlete actually in high school. I always liked the idea of service, grew up kind of instilling that something bigger than you and fighting for that. So the Air Force Academy actually recruited me to run track, Division I school, as maybe not everyone knows. And they're obviously in Colorado. So I said, D1 track in Colorado would absolutely sign me up.
Yep.
So I went to the Air Force Academy and I got my commission there in 2013. And I was a force support. I've been a force support officer ever since then.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So for track, pole vault, hurtles,
all the throws.
Yes. Okay. There you go.
Hammer, javelin, and weight throw.
That's great. And what was your major while you were there?
I was a foreign area studies major, and I minored in French.
That's great. And then as it came time for your AFSC selection, was this your dream sheet? You wanted to go into force support, or where were you headed?
Yeah. Yes, sir. No, I actually didn't know what force support was.
Yeah.
This seems dumb even to admit it. I wanted to be a world-class athlete, and I wanted to compete on the post-collegiate stage in track. That didn't quite work out the way I planned. I ended up tearing my shoulder my senior year, and I got force support because I'm colorblind as well. I went in for my rated physical, and they said I'm colorblind, so I got force support. And it sounds, I tell that story a lot, especially in our travels, because you think you have all these doors, you have all these options, and when they start closing, sometimes it's not necessarily a closed door, but really the door you're supposed to walk through anyway, and it can be an incredible opportunity if you give it a chance.
Yeah, so what was that first assignment for you?
F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Just racking them up, okay.
Exactly.
So what'd you think? You're now boots on the ground at F.E. Warren, force support, colorblind, torn shoulder.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I was told, I remember asking a lot of people my senior year, for mentorship and what do I do, right? And they always told me to go find a senior NCO and just follow them around. And that's what I did. I've had a lot of senior NCO mentors that have helped me out. And when I don't know what to do, first off, just admitting that and just admitting, hey, I'm not sure what to do in this case, and asking for help, asking for advice. And it's haven't gotten everything that we've ever wanted, but it's that attitude of like, this is what I'm going, this is the ownership that I'm going to take of myself, my career, and we're going to go full steam ahead.
That's great. And at what point did the Thunderbird bug bite you? Was it during that tour? Or?
No, sir. It was the next tour in Korea.
Okay.
So my commander, Josh Wild, he was Thunderbird 10, the executive officer, and he was telling all these crazy stories. And I was actually planning to get out of the Air Force after I was done with my commitment. But he challenged me to really apply myself and take that ownership of, not only my career, but the people around me that I'm responsible for. And he said, hey, if you really do that, I could see you as a Thunderbird. And it was about that time that I was actually a sexual assault response coordinator in Korea, and had to deal with a lot of young men and women on their worst day, and help them figure out how to put their lives back together.
Yeah.
And I saw a strength that inspired me, and I wanted to tell that story of inner strength that I think everyone has on a bigger scale. And so those two kind of things together really made me want to apply for this job, because that's our job, going out and talking to people, finding out what inspires them, what drives them, and then really seeing how they can pursue that.
Yeah. So I've had a chance to see you guys practice and jump in on a couple sorties, and it's just amazing, the discipline, the procedures. It is a very, not to use a Navy analogy, tight ship that you guys run. What was your first impression when you got there and saw that's how they conduct their business every day?
The same exact thing as you, sir. And every single sortie since then, every single day since then, I see every single one of my teammates fighting for that every single inch. We say, we fly 18 inches apart. That is the closest that we fly, and every pilot, maintainer, ops personnel, support personnel is fighting for that every single inch in order to keep that tight ship, because we're incredibly proud of what we do, bringing the air power to, and the military in general, to every single corner of America. And that takes an intense amount of drive, an intense amount of passion, pride, and precision, and it's fighting for every single inch.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have a favorite show site that you've been to? Like, man, this one is just amazing. Yeah.
I'm biased to St. Joe, Missouri.
They are. St. Joe's.
But they were the very first show site, the military show site after COVID. They put on an amazing show for the entire community, and the community showed up. And it was really, really cool to see everyone just excited for air shows again, excited to come back. Now, I will say though, every single show site has been incredible. Every single person, we always like to joke, no one's really upset at an air show. So there's that joy, that infectious, spirit at every single air show that's really, really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end, and you're off to something else now. So what's next for you?
Yes, sir. So this is my last season on the team, and I'll be PCSing or moving to Colorado. I'll be coaching at the Air Force Academy.
Yeah, that's great.
And the athletic department at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's going to be so fantastic.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
So I've given you a lot of questions. What questions do you have for me that I can answer for the team?
Yeah, so I actually have one for you, sir. So like I said, we talk a lot about leadership because we try and inspire the next group of leaders for the Air Force. And then obviously we try and retain the ones that are in. So along that line, what is the character trait that a leader must possess that is most important to you?
I'm a big believer in empathy from the standpoint of trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand what it is that they're going through and how you can help develop or how you can help support them. It's interesting, here at Nellis, we have such a busy schedule and such just huge amount of mission that's going on. It's a demanding tour for a lot of people. And so when it comes to helping them out, either from a family perspective or a development perspective or, hey, whatever's next, I know that can be stressful. And so the way that I try and help out with that is, having been there and now putting myself in their shoes, what kind of pain chains can we help remove? What kind of coaching can I offer up of like, hey, this may help you out? Is there somebody else that I can provide a point out to of like, hey, maybe you could go talk to this person? Or if nothing else, just being there to listen and help guide. And so I think empathy is an important one, just so that way you can have an understanding and a better sense of what that individual, what their family may be encountering, so that way you can best help optimize them and help them develop and be a better person. Yeah, so now putting myself in your shoes, I got one more question for you. The formation or the solos, which one's better?
Oh, no. Well, I've flown with the Diamond quite a bit. I haven't flown with the solos yet, so I'm not quite sure I'm qualified to make that call.
All right, we'll let you get away with that one. Well, James, thanks for the time today.
Thank you, sir.
Team Bullseye, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. And for everybody, have a good Fights On. Thanks.